More and more couples are meeting online. And if we're being honest, online dating isn't going anywhere anytime soon. But so many of us are finding big frustrations with it. Matching with people who just never respond, or not finding someone who's looking for the same thing that we're looking for. We find ourselves just endless swiping with no real connection in sight. Well, today, I'm going to go through 4 things you must do if you want to succeed in online dating. Before we get to that, my Claim Your Man program is now open. In this program, I guide you through step by step how to get a man to commit to you right from the first date. Free spots are limited, so if you want to know how to level up your love life that leads to a successful relationship, get your spot below. So the first thing you must do to succeed in dating apps and online dating is to take your time. I don't mean in the sense of you take your time talking to someone over a year, but I mean taking your time to build a level of rapport and trust with someone before you start meeting with them. It can be really overwhelming on these dating apps when you have a plethora of options, and chances are if you're an attractive woman, you probably do. However, it's important to take your time. Really review and look at the profiles that do catch your eye that you think you may be interested in. Rushing things into the first hot guy you match with online isn't an approach that I would recommend. Because while he may be very hot, there are a lot of guys on these apps and online dating who are just looking for an easy hookup. So taking your time is going to help you not waste your time. The second thing you must do to succeed in online dating is to be honest in your profile. If we're being honest, when people join dating apps or online dating sites, they tend to exaggerate certain things about themselves to be more attractive to the wider masses. And hey, I'm not criticizing you if you have done it, because everyone's done it. However, honesty is always the best policy when you're matching with someone online, because while you may match with someone who you think is really great, they could actually be a bad match for you if there was something in your profile that was a little bit deceiving. So when you create your profile, be honest about your interests, about your hobbies, and yes, about your appearance. I have to say that because that's the thing most people lie about. If we're trying to use a photo that's anything over 4 to 5 years old, we're not being truthful to ourselves. Let's not have anyone accuse us of being a catfish. I remember a female friend of mine telling me about how she matched with this guy, and they were texting and talking back and forth for a couple of weeks, and they planned to meet in central London for an afternoon. Now, she doesn't live in London, but it takes her 2 hours to get into London. And she was willing to do that because she matched with this attractive guy and they'd have really good chat, and she was excited to meet him. So she spent all this time getting ready, got her makeup on point, picked out a great outfit, got her hair on point. She made her way to meet him, and then she met the guy in town. And when they met, they had a bit of an awkward hug, right? But that happens when you just meet someone new. Hey, her words, not mine. And then they started walking to where they were going to get a drink. And 5 minutes into walking, the guy just stopped and turned to her and said, "Look, I don't think this is worth it because, to be honest, you don't look how I imagined you to look." So he just said, "It was nice to meet you," and left. Complete waste of her energy and her time. Now, yes, he may have handled it a bit harsh. He probably could have handled it better. And it's really easy to criticize him at this point and be like, well, that's ridiculous. Like, she traveled all the way in to see you. But when she showed me the photos she uses for her profile, and I say this with love because she's a good friend of mine, the photos she uses don't accurately show who she is today. We have to be honest with ourselves. So don't be ashamed of it. Embrace who you are on there, and who you match with is going to embrace with you. Which ties into the third thing that you must do is use quality photos, especially the first picture in your profile. When it comes to online dating and dating apps, your first picture is going to make or break a match. It will literally be the thing that if a guy sees, he goes, "Oh, I want to investigate more about this person." And this isn't a surprise to you because this is exactly what you do with guys. Or you just swipe no on them straight away. So it's important that you use quality photos, or especially for the first one. Now, look, I'm not saying that you have to have some kind of photo shoot and then get the photos edited and cropped and all this, though a lot of girls do that. But just make sure that you have no ones that are blurry and that the photos actually show you in the picture. I would say avoid using group photos, but as long as your first one is a solo one of you, then it doesn't really matter that much. Oh, and I have to say this as well. Don't just have photos of your face. Don't just have photos from the collarbone up. you should have at least a couple of photos on your profile that does show your physique. Because if your photos only show your face from the neck up, it just makes guys think that you have something to hide. Now look, no one is perfect, and believe me, no one thinks their body is perfect. But that shouldn't stop you from showing it off. You don't need to have a photo of you in a bikini, but do show one that represents who you are. Because when you do, you know that the guys you do match with do like your shape and your physique and are attracted to you to some degree. You don't want guys to be trying to guess, because on the other side of the spectrum, they could imagine that you're actually worse than what you are, which means they just swipe left and don't give you a chance at all. And the last thing you want is to waste your time like my friend did. And this next thing that you must do, and this is more particular for being a woman, is to Google your match's name. Now, if I'm being honest, guys rarely do this, but I know that there's a lot of women who already do this, and it's a really good practice that every woman should do if they're dating online. Definitely do your research before deciding to meet with a grown-ass man who's a stranger. Search for their name online and see what comes up. They could be a criminal, or be a sex offender, or be a vegan. I'm joking, no hate to the vegans, but I'll never be one. And especially as a woman, there's a level of care and caution for your own safety that you do need to do. If they have their Insta profile in their handle, even better. Have a stalk, see what photos they choose to put online, because the photos we put online is a representation to how we want the world to see us, and thus a representation of our values and our character. You never know, you may see that you have a mutual friend, and if you do not hesitate to ask this mutual friend about this guy. Definitely before you meet with him. Now, I'm not saying that anything they say is golden and should be worth, putting you off, especially if you've had a really nice time talking with him. But any idea of knowing what you're getting into is hugely helpful. And if you find one too many red flags yourself, then it might be considering worth not meeting at all. Do you do any of these already? How have you find online dating for you? If you're looking for a guy who spices up your love life, make sure you subscribe to this wonderful tribe. And as always, keep it slick. Pow.